He's free?
Freedom? Wait. You asked me about freedom? Here? You tell me, how free are we? Huh? My buddy who went to Nam and got his leg blown off, is he free? Well, I'll tell you something. It hurts like hell to be completely free from our friends and our home. But you tell me, is Vietnam free now? Tell me, is it? Tell them, are they free if Carter or if Reagan decides to play a little in the Mideast?
So you felt no duty to fight to keep them free?
There is no freedom.
Aren't you really saying that you didn't love America?
Love America? You know, my God, you'd like to make it that simple for them, wouldn't you? Black and white. Well, damn you, for us it's been as simple as life and death for the past 10 years. You know, the answer for America is so simple. Simple. Comes down to the same basic reason for life. I mean, you use that force stronger than any weapon. More powerful than any leader, common to all men that can unite, not divide. You know, it's funny. It's what the Woodstock Nation was saying in 1970. You just love one another. Love one another. We showed our nation could be together.
On drugs.
In harmony. Playing to help each other. No call us. I'm tired of this.
Allison?
What do you want to know?
Your new lifestyle.
Should have figured you would zero in on that. My lifestyle was just being honest and sharing everything. It nearly tore me apart from my family. My dad and I are a lot alike. We don't hide our feelings or emotions about anything. But on this one, we fought back and forth about everything, especially my personal life. Sometimes the fights really bothered me.
Tell us about
I don't know why you'd be interested
us.
in... Most of them concerned Barry, my boyfriend. We were living together at Kent.
Living together.
And planning on transferring to Buffalo in the fall to study psych. He was more to our liking than Kent State. We lived together with Yossarian.
Yossarian?
Yossarian is my cat. Dad didn't understand, but Professor Looning really helped me out. He was good at figuring out where my family was coming from. You know, it was sort of a difference in generations. Well, I just don't hide my feelings about anything. I just couldn't sit around and do nothing about what was wrong. I was active in Kennedy's campaign, and I marched in the moratorium at Kent.
The moratorium against the war? You marched in the moratorium?
Yes, I marched against the war. The war was wrong. It had to end. But again, in thinking about it, what good did it do? Nixon was a fascist pig who didn't listen to the people. Why, he told the press that spring that the students were bums. Shit! He was the president of the United States. Where was leadership? Moral leadership. And Governor Rhodes was only concerned with winning the election. He said that we were vigilantes and the worst type of people we harbor in America. God. The guard heard it too. He had it piped into their bivouac area. He just set the stage. You know, both Nixon and Rhodes are only concerned with one thing. Winning. They're all looking for a good write-up, you know, in the history books. Well, you know the book on us isn't complete. And it's gonna be complete. You have to know it all.
We know it all.
You? I doubt it. But I know they don't know much about it at all. And you won't either. They're keeping the 3,000-page FBI summary report on the fire. You know, the fire that lit the guard on campus. They're keeping that under wraps. If that got out and you found out what really happened, it might blow the cover. You know, isn't it odd? Funny that the guard was supposedly called into Kent in response to the ROTC fire. But they were on their way to campus before the fire actually started. They were coming before the fire, but the cops and the firemen didn't even respond to the fire. You sort of get your sides mixed up, don't you? fire didn't even get started until after the students left the area. Well, who said it? Why not release the FBI report? Is there something they don't want you to know?
Why go into this?
Why? God damn it, that's what the hell I would like to know. Why? Why did the guard come on campus on Saturday without notifying or getting any permission from any university official? Why did they come on campus? If it says they say they were called in to protect the town, well, why not arrest those people really responsible for the fire? God damn it! You dare ask me why? Why not release the FBI report? Why not release the secret memos? Why not expose the
Allison,
cover-up?
who
Why
cares?
did Nixon call Rhodes after the fire and tell him to make a
Allison!
goddamn good example of someone at Kent? We are that example.
Allison, were you a radical?
Now what the hell does that have to do with anything?
Were you a radical?
Jesus Christ. Radical? Well, that depends. If Nixon and Agnew and Rhodes are middle of the road, or if you are middle of the road, then I am a radical and proud of it. I just can't deal with murderers. Nixon promised to end the war in Vietnam, and Kennedy would have, and McCarthy was gypped out of the nomination. I should have seen the signs of this by the reaction of the people in Chicago. Gestapo tactics there. Then that's all part of it. I finally turned to my classes, and especially my friends, and Barry. Really dug art history. There was this one painting I was always infatuated with. Didn't know why. But after 10 years, I think it says it all.
You were a radical and a demonstrator.
Isn't that my right? Isn't that what the Constitution guarantees?
People have the right to gather peacefully and protest against any action they don't agree with. Students are citizens. Most of the fighting in Nam was done by people our age.
Well, soldier boy, you see where that type of belief got you and us?
Well, I was there because of the Guard. Vietnam was the important issue, but now it was the campus. I still don't understand it. Why did the Guard
The
march?
rally was peaceful. The President's Commission said it was, and the FBI.
Yeah, they said it was peaceful too, but what the hell does it matter? I mean, who or what says it was legal? We're here.
It's important to know what occurred.
Facts are pretty clear. My God, I didn't believe paranoia was that deep. But after 10 years, you believe it. With Watergate and the secret memos. You know, you should believe it too. It's not just a requiem for us. It's a requiem for human rights.
I mean, how in the hell do you explain Sandy and Bill being here? I mean, Sandy was more interested in an MRS than an SDS. She didn't even know there was a rally, just heading on the way to class.
And Schroeder, honor student, Eagle Scout.
And first in his military class of ROTC at Kent State.
Radical. More like an all-American boy.
I told people in my morning class they didn't have clips in their guns. Yeah, I was ROTC. At age 17, I signed away 10 years of my life.
Bill, why did you attend the rally?
Look, I already told you. The President's Commission said
The FBI agreed too.
the rally was legal.
Then why do they keep saying it wasn't?
Look, aren't we past this? I mean, even they know after the leaks of the past 10 years.
Why were you an ROTC student there?
I was on my way to class.
So was I.
Sandy.
Just trying to figure out why they made the dumb move of continuing the march past the pagoda.
After the Commons was clear.
And right into a chain link fence.
Why did they huddle together?
Why didn't you obey the Guard and disperse?
Look, I was leaving the area. I watched the guard march back up the hill and turned to go to class.
This whole thing makes no sense to me. Of course, I was against the war, but for the most part, I hated politics. I didn't even know what was going on. I had a big speech path test on Monday and studied the entire weekend for it, so I really missed out on any news. I heard some people in my house and Jeff talk about some marches, but I was too busy studying. The only break I had was working with David and also talking to Mom when she and Graham brought up my summer clothes so long ago. But there she was, giving me the engagement notices from Youngstown, telling me, just thought you might want to know that Carrie is now Mrs. Schubert. You know, I wasn't involved. I avoided it all. I walked around Taylor Hall, away from the garden, away from the crowd. I mean, they were on the practice football field. I was so far away. I was talking to Sue. We were going over the parts of the larynx for the test. And they marched across the road. And I think back up the hill, but I don't know. I was so far away. And then all I remember was I heard something that sounded like a car backfire.
And some of them kept
And
turning
I was thinking as I fell to the ground that
Only
I'd
if
be
they
late
were
on
the
the
two
test.
parking lot, the same ones that come together on the field. They kept staring back. And then some of them fell behind the rest of
On
the
and about working with
back,
David.
staring.
Mom,
And then they just
I'm too young to be married.
and looked
God,
at
I'm
us
too young to be dead.
right at us.
You can't go on doing this to yourself.
It does you both no good.
It won't do you any good to try to figure this out. Just please, just move on. Look, Sandy, you've got to realize you're here. There's no turning back.
It would have been nice to grow old.
So
When I realize I'm not going to set the world on fire, I'm not a strong person. I almost passed out when I gave blood. But I can't go until my mother knows. My parents have to know that I
Sandy,
have
do you remember the move over? Do you remember the time you woke up the entire household? Everybody. You led them into the entire snow and then told them it was now time for their moon tan. I mean, come on. You remember all the great dinners we had together? My playing on the drums. What about David? What about the Come on, what about the people you loved and who loved you,
I
huh?
remember.
Good girl.
Yeah, I remember that I walked the other way. I walked through the parking lot. They were on the football field.
I have a hard time letting go too.
Why do this? Why bring it up?
It's good for the soul.
The guard said they were surrounded, that they were forced to fire.
None of us were within 100 yards.
Then why are you here?
Look, the FBI report set the record
That
straight.
self-defense crap by the guard.
Was fabricated subsequent to the event.
There was a sniper.
Look, even in 1970, Nixon's own presidential commission said the guard lied. They said there was no reason for them to have fired, that it was
Tell
unjustified.
them about the memo.
Yeah, the secret memo.
Yes, it actually tells you who called all the shots.
I don't see why I should...
Tell
The
them!
secret memo made public by NBC News in April 1978.
Richard Nixon told Attorney General Mitchell.
In August 1970, and before any investigation, there will be no federal investigation of the incident at Kent
His
State.
mind was made up. I wonder why.
Even the FBI report.
Under J. Edgar Hoover.
Not exactly a member of the SDS or left-wing group.
Recommended a federal investigation into the shootings.
So did hundreds of other newspapers.
But Nixon's secret order was only further strengthened by an eyes-only memo from John Irving.
Yeah, and their little cover-up continued.
That about says it all for Mr. Law and Order.
Still, there was no federal grand jury.
Until Watergate.
But the guard who were indicted were later acquitted.
In Ohio.
In a kangaroo political court.
And by a judge who decided the outcome before the trial began.
Why can't you go on?
Watergate changed people, and the Supreme Court ruled in our favor.
Yeah, in 79, the guard and the roads finally admitted May 4th should never have happened. That's a great consolation, isn't it? They admitted it. You mean to tell me that things are supposed to go on in this goddamn place because they admitted it? Oh, that's some fucking consolation.
Your parents got what they really wanted.
God, my parents got $15,000. Is that how much you think a human life is worth? But then I guess you already told us what you think of us.
The money had nothing to do with
Then
it.
why did they settle?
They wanted to go on with the trial, but
Dean Kaler was paralyzed at Kent.
They wanted to go on and finally bring out what had happened. But if they had, it might have ruined it for him. And my God, he was not...
Dean Kaler might not have gotten any compensation if we lost. I mean, doesn't tell you something that they finally settled? I mean, don't you think they knew it was going to come out?
Some still don't know the truth.
They will if they want to know it. For those of you who don't want to know it, Kent State is not history.
I want to let it go, but I can't. I still worry about people. My parents, especially my mom. We were close. I just hope she knows I wasn't there making any waves. I'd only been at Kent for 8 months studying psych and learning about why people do the things they do. I mean, do we have a choice or are we just robots? Anyway, I wanted to serve out my ROTC commitment to see if there was any way of settling things without winning or losing. Well, the money came in handy, and the classes, they weren't as gung-ho war as you might think. Besides, when I got the scholarship, it made my parents, especially my mom, awfully proud. I liked being near home. Sometimes I'd split after Friday classes and go home and shoot some hoops and drink some brews with my buddies. Near the end, my feelings about the military and the war, well, Vietnam, well, my mind was getting heavy with it. I know you noticed